Nagaland, a beautiful state with breathtaking scenery, the most amazing people, the land of... Scratch all that. Let us get straight to the point. Nagaland is a lot of things, but developed, it is not. And no matter how you try to spin this argument, you will struggle to convince anyone that Nagaland is a developed state that has set the standard for high quality living for its residents. Sure, Nagaland has an infant mortality rate lower than Kerala. No, I'm serious. Check out our story on this issue linked in the description. But when it comes to most metrics, Nagaland does not fare well in comparison with other northeastern states too, let alone the rest of the nation. Compare Mizoram's literacy rate with Nagaland, for example. Not even in the same league, let alone competing. Now, what if I told you that within Nagaland there are some regions which are considered or which consider themselves, depending on how you wish to see it, much more backward than the rest of Nagaland? I'm your host Kalyan Deb, and in this week's Decoded, we talk about the demand for Frontier Nagaland and why it is time you paid attention to this issue. Pursuing for months.
The village of Assam
in the 75th Independence Day.
Six districts: Tuensang, Mon, Longleng, Kiphire, Noklak and Shamator. These form Eastern Nagaland and collectively form over 48% of the state population. But interestingly, contribute only 1/3, 20 of the total 60 MLAs in the assembly. Some of you outside Nagaland may have heard the name of Mon district last year, when 13 civilians were killed by security forces because of mistaken identity. At that time, several media houses from across the region had talked about the challenges of reaching Oting, the village where the massacre took place. And while the demand for Frontier Nagaland may be picking pace now, it is a demand that goes back over a decade and has been raised again and again under the leadership of Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, also known as ENPO, which is the apex body of Eastern Naga tribes, which include the Chang, Khiamnungang, Konyak, Phom, Sangtam, Tikhir and Yimkhwing tribes. Well, let us take a few moments and understand that talks about development, progress, facilities are almost always in context. Is Nagaland more developed than, say, Mizoram when it comes to education? No. But is 2022 Nagaland more developed than 1982 Nagaland in terms of hospitals, schools and higher education? Yes. People in Eastern Nagaland believe that compared to the rest of the state, they have not received as much love and respect from the state government as is their right. Let us pay attention to what the ENPO has said. Take educational institutions for example. Nearly 50% of the state population, yet only 4 government colleges, as pointed out by Chang Vedoshi Setsang President C. Pongsu. Pongsu reveals stats that are, to put it mildly, shocking. The employment rate is only 11% among the Eastern Nagas. There are 9 high schools without a headmaster. There are multiple factors that can lead to an answer, but let us start with the formation of Nagaland as a state. The present area of Eastern Nagaland under the aegis of ENPO was historically and geographically never under any foreign rule before the advent of the independence of India. It was known as an excluded and unadministered area, and even the British left this part of Nagaland as unconquered and unoccupied. It was only in 1948 the 7 tribes were merged under the banner of Northeast Frontier Agency, known as Tuensang Frontier Division, under the Ministry of External Affairs. On December 1, 1963, Nefa and Naga Hills district of Assam amalgamated to form a full-fledged state of Nagaland. Consequently, over the next several decades, while the rest of Nagaland took the first steps towards progress, these regions continued to remain behind. Articles from 2011 point out how bad the roads are, how drinking water supply remains severely lacking, and how unemployment remains a big concern. Cut to 2022, and all these problems either remain or have only become worse with each year passing. In such an event, the region's representatives believe only the demand for a new state will help address the issue at hand. The people demanding are well aware that the state elections are almost upon us, and this perhaps is the only time that there is a chance that Kohima leaders will pay attention to those in Eastern Nagaland because, well, they may not want your opinions, but they definitely want their votes. On August 26, 2022, the ENPO adopted a resolution of not taking part in any election process of the central and state until and unless a separate statehood, Frontier Nagaland, is granted by the Government of India. With no early response from the central government towards its demand for a separate statehood, they raised the demand for the resignation of 20 legislators representing Eastern Nagas as the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, along with the resignation of all political party workers, both at the central and regional level. Now, we all know that politicians rarely resign in India because they have not met people's demands. Who are they? Liz Truss? Ahead of elections, expect the same old script. We will bring development, build 4,000 schools, appoint 10,000 teachers, build 50 hospitals and open 5 universities in the region. But people have heard that and are tired. This time it seems the demand for Frontier Nagaland is here to stay. And in a state ruptured by political differences, it remains to be seen where this demand takes the state of Nagaland. For now though, this has once again shown the divisions within Nagaland.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.